Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of I2I Live. My name is Kyle. I am part one of the dynamic duo that is I2I Disney Through Our Eyes. And welcome to another Monday night. Here we're on a different time. Normally we go live at about 9:15-ish, not it's somewhere in the 9 range. Normally that's what we've been going. Notice last week that we had a lot of other channels that tend to go live during that time, and I thought there might be a little bit more of a gap here, which is why we made the announcement later on in the week to switch over to 7 p.m. Eastern time here to hang out on this time frame, just because it seems like it's a little bit more freedom for those of you that like to watch a lot of our Disney community channels and to hang out a little bit with those people as well. So that's why we're here tonight at this time frame, and I appreciate you watching live or watching on the replay as well. And we've got an interesting topic to talk about tonight. I'm hoping to obviously give you my thoughts, but I want to hear from those of you that are watching, hopefully live as well. And obviously, even if you're not watching this live, comments are much appreciated so that we can see what you think about what we're talking about here on the channel. And as always, make sure you smash that like button and that share button out as well. A couple of people I already see popping into the chat window, letting me know that they're here. Mr. Clint Richardson, nice to see you, sir. Always nice when I see you pop in here from a different field that you and I like to hang out in a lot. But headset tonight, yeah, I'm trying it out. Did a different setup with some other equipment that I have for another adventure that you know about. So I'm trying to do less moving around of the objects, but we'll see how it works. I don't know. We'll see how I like it, whether or not. Alex Brunner's also in the house. He says, "Hey Kyle, hello to you as well. Thank you so much for being here, Alex and Clint, thus far. And if you're watching right now, please let me know that you're here. Love to know who I'm chatting with. Give you a shout out. And obviously, as we go throughout this, your comments and questions are essential to the flow of this show, and I want to hear from you. And obviously, we'll bring some of those up on the screen as they come along here. Juan Rodriguez is in the house. How are you doing, sir? He says, Disney Store free Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker logo with purchase today only. I did not hear that news, sir. We went shopping yesterday afternoon, and uh, I was a bit overwhelmed. We did go by the Disney Store, but as you can imagine, it was packed. And we went to a Target as well. That wasn't as packed, but we were on the way to something else, so we didn't have time to stop and look over there. But I can imagine they've probably got some really good deals going on. He says an enamel pin is what you're saying there with the Skywalker logo on it. Excuse me while I grab a drink there. But yeah, that's a really cool deal. I imagine there's a lot of cool things that are going on right now. I think Jessica's probably bought me one or two things online that maybe I don't know about. We'll see what ends up in my stocking. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that at the end, because I do want to make sure that we talk a little bit about the topic that I have at hand tonight for you on this broadcast. And obviously, while I come with a topic here tonight to talk about, this is obviously a show created by you for you. So if you would rather the conversation shift somewhere else at any point throughout this, please, obviously go through that in the chat window there, and we'll just kind of talk about what you want to talk about. But to kind of move us in the direction of what I had planned for us tonight, obviously, if you notice that our cue card there, this is our weekly Disney Hangout, where we just talk about a main topic and any other Disney news that's out there right now. And with the Rise of Skywalker imminent right now, I mean, days away. For some of you, it is tomorrow, apparently. I think people in Finland are able to view it tomorrow. I think also people in maybe the rest of the Scandinavian nations. I know some people it's 2 days away. For Jessica and myself, it is nearly 3 days away. So I thought, what better way to celebrate this upcoming great movie than to talk about what we expect out of it. So that's what I'm going to try to do tonight, is to talk through some things, 5 things that I've come up with that I want to see out of the Rise of Skywalker. So why don't we start with that? Right now in the chat window, obviously while you're smashing that like button, everything else that goes along with that, please make sure you let me know what you think about what you want to see happen in the Rise of Skywalker. Now, if by some miracle you have seen this already, I don't know how you have, don't spoil it for the rest of us. Everything that I speculate on is just pure speculation. I'm not based off of anything that I've heard. I have heard and seen things, but I'm not talking off of any like knowledge base when I talk about the things that I'm expecting, the things that I want to see tonight. So don't fear not. Spoilers are not to be had here, at least intentionally. So, and I hope that everybody else will abide by that as well. So, why don't we get that started? You guys in the chat window share your expectations, your things that you want to see happen in the Rise of Skywalker night, and we'll kind of talk through some of those because I would imagine yours are going to line up a lot like me tonight. And also, I said this on the last couple of Disney live shows tonight. I have another little cool function that I would love to utilize tonight. If we get above 10, I might make that available to everybody in the chat if they want to. I don't know that anybody would want to utilize it, but I know I'm the worst salesman in the entire world. I've got this cool thing, but you probably won't like it. But if we get to 10 viewers tonight, maybe it'll happen. So anyway, if you'd like to see that, make sure you help us get up there on the stream count tonight. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in here in just a second. Juan said, I've been Christmas shopping since November and gift wrapping since 12 to 19. Well, sir, you have been way on top of it, and sadly, I have not been. Alex says he'll hopefully be seeing the Rise of Skywalker on Friday. I would rather go. I don't like going on Thursday nights, but Jessica and myself have so much going on this holiday season. I mean, we honestly had planned to already put out a Christmas tree ornament thing for you guys on our channel, but we just have not had any time. I mean, literally, and Clint, if he's still watching, he's probably rolling his eyes at me right now because he knows the other stuff that I get myself involved with. He's probably like, you just think you're that busy. But it has been a crazy, crazy holiday season thus far for us. So apologies that we didn't do Vlogmas or anything like that this year. Juan, I expect to see more space horsies on the Rise of Skywalkers. You know, I was not expecting to see any space horsies, Juan. I was shocked by their inclusion in the trailer, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Space horsies is definitely something that's new. It's exciting, I guess, and we'll see what happens with it. He also says Disneyland Star Tours to have a new Rise of Skywalker scene starting on the 20th. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Juan. Is it just Disneyland, or is it going to be Disney World too? All the Star Tours, I think, would get the same update. Let me know in the chat window. But yeah, I mean, they do this with part of the marketing machine to get people excited for the Rise of Skywalker, or to any Star Wars movie, is to utilize any avenue they have to push it out there. Mr. Alex Brunner, I'm excited for Palpatine. It's a very just blanket statement there, but it's a very valid statement. Look, nobody was. If you've watched our reaction video of the teaser trailer for the Rise of Skywalker, you saw how much I flipped out when we heard his cackling voice come across that. I mean, that was just incredible to have that part of the that trailer, and then now the revelation of how involved he's been throughout this entire process. I mean, I'm not, again, I kind of feel like I'm pushing into spoiler territory when I mention that, but think about it. I mean, if you've been watching any of the trailers, any of the TV spots, I mean, they've been more and more just saying, hey, look, we're not going to hide it. Palpatine is the big bad, and he is here, and here's some pieces of how he's been around for this long time. So, look, it's not a secret anymore. Palpatine is the real deal. And by the way, Alex, I know I mentioned it last week. I do love your profile pic there with the Death Star in the background. Joshua, thank you, buddy. I don't know if I've seen you on our. I think I may have seen you in the comments on one of our other videos, but I don't know that I've seen you on one of our live shows, whether trivia or this tonight. So if I've missed you before, I'm sorry. I try to remember everybody that's been here, but welcome. So everybody say hello to Joshua. He says, we'd love to see Anakin show up in episode 9. I'm already kind of pushing my time frame to share mine because, you know, these aren't the longest live streams that we normally do. These are meant to be kind of shorter versions. We're going to go at least a half an hour, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see how we go here. But you, Sir Joshua, are getting into some territory that I want to talk about in just a second here because I have some. I was actually out on a walk today because I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to stay healthier. It was a nice afternoon out and not too chilly. And so I was out walking around listening to a podcast, and I can multitask like that, walk and listen to something, and think through my list of things that I wanted to see happen. And while they were broad and across the spectrum of things that could possibly happen in the Rise of Skywalker, I tried to kind of cinch them down into a couple of categories, not a couple, 5 categories or 5 broader topics which we could expound upon a little bit. And you talked about one of those there. Let's see. One, I think, has got a quote up here. Annie, is that you? You've grown up so much. Yes. If we get an appearance from Padme in this one, a la Ghost, Vision, whatever, it's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see all the ships fighting in space. Look, if you've been listening to any of our live streams or videos, you know how much I love a good one side on one side of the field, the other side on the other end of it, and then just run them. Look, a field can be anything. It can be a grassy knoll. It can be a sandy beach. It can be a just immense of space. Just bring them to each other and let's just go at it. That's a movie to me. And Star Wars does that very well. So yes, I cannot wait for that as well, Alex. Disney's Golden Boy is in the house. Everybody say hello to Disney's Golden Boy. Good to see you, my friend. He says, I'm looking forward to the possible death match of Rey and Kylo. I don't think it's possible, sir. I think it is likely. I will put death in quotation marks because, look, it's billed as the last of the Skywalker saga. So you got to think people are going to die in this, but who? Maybe everybody dies. Maybe some type of nuclear explosion goes off across the universe and resets the whole thing. I don't know. Would it be the worst thing? Probably not. But it's not the thing that I want. But look, a death match between Rey and Kylo, in the figurative sense, it's going down, and it's going down on the Death Star, and I'm so ready for it. 3 days away for us. 3 days. God, I'm so excited. All right. So while you guys are, again, keep the comments and questions coming in as we go throughout this. Let me start sharing with you what I thought my 5 things were, that I wanted to see in the Rise of Skywalker. And we'll start with number 1 right here for me. Complete the story. And again, I tried to put these in broad spectrums, broad categories to talk about these things here. By the way, I love this comment that Joshua just put out here. He says, someone has to lose a hand. Someone always has to lose a hand in Star Wars. Come on. Yeah, I agree with you there. So it's a Star Wars trope, so it's going to happen. Disney's Golden Boy. Dude, spoiler? I don't think I said anything. I'm trying to be very careful of spoiler. So maybe that's not a spoiler. I hope not. Hope it didn't. Baby Yoda cameo, please. Look, hey, if there's any spoiler that is like the worst kept secret in pop culture right now, it is Baby Yoda. For those of our friends across the seas that can't watch The Mandalorian, look, you have to have seen Baby Yoda pop up on your social media at some point here. So sorry about that if you haven't heard about Baby Yoda. But complete the story is my number 1 I want to have. And I think this is kind of obvious here. They're billing this as the end of the Skywalker saga, the end of everything for the time being. So I just don't want there to be loose ends. Yes, I do love a good Christopher Nolan movie where the ending's ambiguous and you have to make up your own mind on what it's going to be, a la The Dark Knight Rises, Inception. Granted that a lot of that comes from Christopher Nolan being an amazing director, but I hope, and I think J.J. Abrams has a tall task here, and to complete 3 years worth of work, one which he didn't have a hand in, that being Episode 8, and technically 40, 50 years plus of work, and to wrap it all up, tie a bow on it, and complete it. I don't envy the man. I just don't. That's not something that I would wish on anybody, because I do think that he has an impossible task to pull off at this point in his career. And it's going to be pretty challenging for him to do so. Anyway, so in terms of when I say complete the story, what are you guys' thoughts on that? When I say complete the story, What does that mean to you? For me, it's just tie it. Don't leave any loose ends. Tie it all up with a bow. I don't want to have lingering questions about what this is. If this is supposed to end this saga, I I don't want a lot of carryover for while we're waiting for the next set of Star Wars movies to come out. That's just that when I say complete the story, that is what I mean by that. Just a few questions and just the ability to kind of put this to the side and say, hey, this is done now. Lando, hold on, let me ring that up. Lando flying the Millennium Falcon is going to be awesome. Yes, just having him back is going to be completely awesome. Just having Lando and Billy D in that role is awesome. Lose a limb and mail it to George Lucas. Wow, that's a little that's a little morbid there. Um, Baby sipping some tea would be adorable. His movies are awesome. Talking about Christopher Nolan, yes, he is. It would be interesting to see what he would do for a Star Wars film. Although it was a miracle to get him to do a Batman movie, so I doubt he would take on the pop culture insanity that is Star Wars. Disney's Golden Boy. Baby Yoda is the most iconic baby, hands down. I want. You know what? Here's what we'll do. I'm going to try to remember this, Disney's Golden Boy. For topics for later discussion shows on other Monday nights, I'm going to, because there's not going to be something newsworthy to always talk about. I'm going to jot that down just for you, sir. Iconic Disney babies, because Baby Yoda falls into that. We can at least discuss that part since it's a Disney Marvel Star Wars channel. So let's do that one too. I'll jot that down just for you as a discussion for a topic. JJ has never had an end to the story before. Never had an end to a story before until now. Yeah, look, the man. Gosh, he's got to be under so much pressure right now. I just don't know how you do it. Disney's Golden Boy says, answer the questions that have been asked over the years. Yeah. And think about that. Think how many questions have been asked over the years. And he's got to answer all of those in. So completing the story is going to be a tall, tall task. Joshua said, yes, I agree. End it. No questions. They probably will find a way to make 10, 11, and 12 in the future. Well, they have 3 already announced. In fact, today is I believe it's one of them, and I believe it's the first untitled Star Wars film. Comes out 5 years from now? 1, 2, 3, 4? 4 years from now, I think it is. Don't quote me. It's either 3 or 4, 3 to 4 or 5. Anyway, it's the anniversary of when that one comes out. But that remains to be seen if that'll be 10, 11, 12, or something completely different. I want something completely different in the Star Wars universe, just saying. All right, we got to keep moving here. I've got a lot of numbers still to go through here, so we'll take number 1 off there. Let me get a little sip of water. And then we'll move on to number 2 tonight. I want to see what you think about this one. Old Friends. Let me move this up here for you guys. Old Friends is like this category I'm talking about. So again, very broad, deep spectrum here. Old friends. Friends doesn't necessarily mean a good thing. Friends means just people and things and species that we've come accustomed to throughout the Skywalker saga, throughout the other anthology films, the TV shows. I'm not big into the Star Wars comics, but things in there. I want to see some old friends that we haven't seen. And maybe some friends that we've lost along the way. Just saying that. Again, this is not spoiler territory because I have no basis for knowing this or anything like this. When I say old friends, for some reason, the one person that comes to mind two people that come to mind that I need to see. And, I know there's a little bit of delay on this, but I'd love to see what you guys guess. Who do you think is on my mind when I say old friends that I want to see? Let's see, how can I waste time to see how you guys do? I should just say it and then just deal with the delay part of it after that. But I would love to know what you guys think's on my mind in terms of who I'd love to see. How about this? Old friends that are no longer part of the series that, that have passed on. Spoilers for episode 7. Will we get a vision of Han Solo? Sure. Maybe some form of that. I don't know. I'd love to see it. But let's see if anybody had a guess at this one. Alex clarified, by the way, that it comes out in 2022. This is Golden Boy says Star Wars. Guess who's back? Yeah, because there's a lot of people they could bring back. Will you be watching the premiere live tonight? No, no, no. I got another thing I've got to do right after this, which is why we're kind of on a strict time segment here. But yeah, I won't be watching it live tonight. I'm hearing there are a lot of cameos in this movie, and that's all I'll say. Yeah, I have heard the same thing too, but I want them to be meaningful cameos too. Alex says I'm going to guess Wedge. Yes, I would love to see Wedge Antilles, but let me go ahead so we can keep moving through my five here tonight. Let me go ahead and tell you what I'm thinking. Again, this is not spoilers because I have no basis for knowing anything about this. This is just what I want to see. I want to see two people reappear in some fashion. It can be. I could deal with it not being a visual return, but a presence return. I need to see Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi return in some fashion, whether it be a vision, a Force ghost, a voice off in the distance. I need them to return because that is the Star Wars that I grew up with. I grew up with the adventures of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and I would love, love, love to have them back together again on the big screen in some fashion tonight. That is again, it's a little bit scary to say that one, just so that I've got a couple of things I'm managing here in the background. If you guys cannot tell, um, I would just love to have them return. Disney's Golden Boy's got one for us. He says Darth Vader. If you've watched the trailer, there's already a hint at least a reference. I mean, there's been plenty of references to Darth Vader in the sequel series, but there's been at least a discussion of him. I'll say that much because I don't want to get into too many spoiler territories with that part of the discussion. But there has already been a involvement of him, shall we say? Alex is on the same page as me. He says that would be awesome. Hey, look, man, I do think that having them again in this world would be absolutely amazing. So, old friends, that's kind of what I want to see, and specifically Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi is what I'm getting at when I say that. So, that's what I would really like to see here. All right, let's keep moving right along here to another one that I have for you all. I'm trying to rearrange my little tools that I have on tap here. Number 3, Episode 7 Answers. Episode 7 Answers. What do I mean when I say Episode 7 Answers? I mean, who is Rey's parents? Just get it done. Tell me who Rey's parents are. I'm done with this not knowing. I don't like being, ambiguous. Kylo, come on. Y'all are got to be on the same page as me. Kylo was lying. He was totally lying when he said in Episode 8 that her parents were just traded her off for drinking money. He had to have been. It's the mantra of the dark side to deceive, to utilize any angle they can for their own power grab or gain. So I'm saying that. Answer it. The Episode 7. Who was Snoke in all this? Who was he? I don't know. Right now he just looks like some guy who's cut in half. I need to know the answers to the questions that were never answered of Episode 7. Let me rephrase that. The questions about Episode 7 were never answered in The Last Jedi. We deserve to know those answers. And I hope JJ has the time and the wherewithal to try to pull that off together. Let's see. Well, Darth was once friendly, yes, in a long time ago in a galaxy far away, he was. Alex says he think we'll find out. So here's my one concern, Alex, is that there's a lot to smash into this story and to tie a bow on everything. We talked about it in my first point, complete the story. How are you going to complete the story when you're trying to complete the story you thought was going to be completed in Episode 8, and it wasn't? So Episode 7 Answers are what I needed. How about this? Let's poll the room here. What questions from episode 7 do you all have that aren't answered yet? Post them right now in the comments. Let's see if there's any that I know the two biggies I've mentioned already are who are Rey's parents and who is Snoke. Those have not been answered yet. Now, if you read all the books, if you watch the TV show, there's been discussion, hints at who all of these people are. But I still don't have a definitive answer for myself on those, and I need to know. I need to know. Disney's Golden Boy says, Kylo, Rey, I am your bae. I I'm torn on whether I want them to have a romance or relationship. I kind of want, I guess this is another point here. I kind of want Rey to just be Rey. I just want her to be her own thing. I'd rather her not have some tie to the universe, just be herself. And I don't know why that is, but I think that's kind of what I want here. We need to see Rey struggle and do training. There's been sequences of that, or at least training, with a remote, at least, in the trailers. So we're going to get some facet of that in this one, but to what extent, I don't know. Spider02. Don't think we've ever seen you before, my friend. Everybody say hello to Spider02. Thanks for being in the stream tonight, buddy. How will Palpatine be revealed? Very slowly, very methodically, and probably drug out really long. But yeah, that's a big question. Will Palpatine be Palpatine as we know him, or in some other version? Questions are up in the air right now. Plenty of them. It's a great one, Spider02. So thanks for popping in and giving us your thoughts on that one. Let's look here and move on to my point number 4 on the night, and we'll start moving towards wrapping up. Skywalker send-off. Now, hold on. I know everybody's like, Kyle, what are you talking about? Do you know something we don't know? Look, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. And when I say Skywalker send-off, I want them to send off Luke and Leia, and I guess Kylo Ren for that matter, but the two important ones to me, Luke and Leia, the right way. So what I'm getting at is, what you're like, Kyle, Luke was sent off in the last one. No, he wasn't. He's still around. We know he is. Somehow, some way, he's still around. He's in the cast. And Leia, we know they've been able to pull with footage they've had of Carrie to make her a nice role in this. Again, a tall task for JJ to pull off with honoring Carrie Fisher and her character of Leia, and then to figure out how to clean up the mess, in my opinion, of how Luke was handled in The Last Jedi. So, that being said, I'd love to know, how about this? If you guys want to give me an opinion in the comments right now about this topic, what do you want to happen to Luke and Leia? Is it you want them both to be dead? Is it come back to life and then just ride off in the sunset? One does one does the other. What's your vision for a Skywalker send-off? What does that mean to you? For me, and I'll just give you my thoughts on this tonight. For me, I'm fine with Luke being one with the Force and gone off. But I need it to have more meaning and purpose than it came off with in The Last Jedi. And it's like he rode off into the sunset but never fully disappeared over the horizon. I need that disappear over the horizon to hit me here. Not the sadness that he's going to be gone, but the sadness, but the happiness and fulfillment of what he could have been. And I just wasn't satisfied by that. For Leia, for me, this is my personal preference, I would rather her not be killed off and her just somehow goes off into the sunset somehow. Retires peacefully. I doubt this is just a hunch. Again, no spoilers here. I have a hunch we're not going to be left with many people after the end of this thing. Disney's Golden Boy, yeah, neither. I want to see them kill each other. Someone needs the W. I'm guessing you're talking about Kylo and Rey there. Mace Windu shows up. Palpatine runs away. Sure. That could be something that happens as well, Joshua. But yeah, that's what I mean by the Skywalker send-off. I need to see the two of them our two heroes, main protagonists from the entire Skywalker saga, sent off in a good light. All right, my fifth and final point on the night for things that I want to see in the Rise of Skywalker is this: set the stage. And then you're like, Kyle, you just said in point number one you wanted them to complete the story. How can you set the stage for something else if you're going to complete the story? Star Wars is a story about families. It's a story of good and evil. It's a story that spans a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. It's much bigger than the Skywalker saga. It's much bigger than one particular character, as we've come to find out with things that have been produced outside of the Skywalker saga, back in the Old Republic, things of that nature. I'm not saying that I need. Again, this is not a spoiler. I keep having to warn you because I don't want to scare anybody. That I want to see, for instance, if Rey stood there at the end just looking off in the sunset after accomplishing some feat that makes us think that there's going to be something greater in the future, so be it. If that kind of hints at something that's coming down the line, I just want to feel like there's something to wait for at the end of the rainbow. Because just because the Skywalker saga ends doesn't mean the story of Star Wars ends. The story of the universe, the galaxy, for them doesn't end. So set the stage, J.J. Abrams. So basically, J.J., here's what you've got to do to make me happy. You got to complete the story, bring back my old friends, answer the question 7 questions that answer the question 7 questions. That sounded weird. You need to give Luke and Leia a proper send-off, and you need to set the stage for the next wave. Not too bad, right, guys? Not asking too much, but anyway. All right, that is my 5 things that I wanted to see for the Rise of Skywalker. I got a few minutes here left. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything on this topic, anything else Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars related news-wise that you would like to discuss tonight. Again, I always come with a topic, but this is more about you guys and what you want to discuss. I'm going to give you a couple of things I want to remind you about, and then we're going to get out of here tonight before a little bit of a dry throat there, before it gets too late here at the end of this. So let me do that. You guys get your last minute kind of questions and comments in here as we kind of wrap up. A couple of things that I want to remind you of here. If you have not done so, make sure you check out the Mandalorian Season 1 Chapter 6 review that Jessica and I did. Really great episode. My favorite thus far. Had some pretty interesting thoughts about it, and of course by Jessica's face there, you can tell it was a pretty interesting conversation. So go check that out if you have not done so. I'll try to put links afterward, or just make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And then also, we have, not this Thursday, but the next Thursday, we will have a Disney Trivia Night, which we will announce the theme of soonish. And on top of that, we will announce the conversation point for our next Monday night. If we can squeeze it in next Monday, I haven't made a decision on that yet. We'll be announcing that very, very soon as well. And the last thing I want to remind you of, an easy way to support us here on this channel is to go to TeePublic. 30% off sale right now for the holidays. $14 t-shirts with this and many more designs. When you make the purchase, you support this channel, but you also support an independent artist as well. So that is my updates for the channel that I have for you. Let's see what you guys thought here in the final thoughts and questions before we get out of here. The legacy deserves to be passed down. Absolutely. But, I would rather there be a big gap of that passing down after this point. I would like to kind of just say, here we are at the end of this section, and here's the new thing that's happening. Here's the new evil that's arose, and here is the new light. The darkness rises and light to meet it. We need answers to Darth Plagueis, Joshua says. Great point. I don't know how many we're going to get, but maybe we'll get some. It's a great point, though. When can we expect the Eternals trailer? I mean, really, dude. I want to see it now. It's about a year away, a little less than a year away now. I wouldn't suspect a teaser trailer until probably Black Widow comes out.
Just my thoughts on that. I had no information on that. I'm ready to see it though. Bring me some Eternals. Love that question, Disney's Golden Boy. Spider O2, will we know something about Baby Yoda's past in the Mandalorian season finale? I bet they're going to leave us hanging on that. I'm just saying. I think that why wouldn't you want that? You need a cliffhanger in a series. Let somebody say, "Oh, you know about this baby? Well, let me tell you," and then it cuts away, and we don't know anything about it. It's a big it's a good question. Another one I don't have an answer for. Disney's Golden Boy wants the big gap for a new generation. I think that's what we'd all like to see. Moreover, I think, and this will be my closing thoughts for this one. And I really appreciate all of y'all hanging out here. So if you got to cut away, I'm going to send you over to someone else. Actually, I don't know who that is actually, so maybe not right now. But anyway, I do want to say thank you to you guys for being here tonight. But I would rather the next three movies that have been announced and not titled yet be about something in the past, and let's let the continuation rest for a little bit. Because if you think about it, it'll be 2022, 24, and 2026. So, and by the time they let it sit for another couple years, probably another 3 years, we'll be 10 years separated from this prequel series or sequel series. And that'll give time for everything to rest, be re energized for a continuation of the story. I really, really think that's the route to go. Just one guy's opinion. That's what I think, though. So anyway, that's my general thoughts about it. My 5 reasons or things that I need to things that need to happen in the Rise of Skywalker. I really appreciate everyone who popped in here tonight. A couple of new faces: Joshua Spider 02, a couple of familiar faces, and Disney's Golden Boy, Alex Brunner. Juan Rodriguez was here at one point. I'm not sure if he's here now. I think we even had one more pop in here. So we had a kind of a smaller group tonight. I'd like to give you guys a shout out. Clint Richardson was here at some point. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. If you like this time, 7 o'clock, please let me know. It works, is a tight window. It works with my schedule that I'd be able to do this on a regular basis. So I really do have to get off like now. But I really enjoy being here on Monday nights and hanging out with all of you. So please do come back, tell a friend, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell if you have not done so as well. And check us out on all our social media: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And make sure you check out all the videos we have on our channel for you. That's all I have for you on this edition of I2I Live. Until we assemble again, my friends, may the force be with you forever. And I'll see you all real soon. Bye.